What's up, Duelists? I'm Ashton, and welcome to another Testing Tuesday, where every Tuesday I try out one of Yu-Gi-Oh's many different decks and archetypes, give you a little bit about what I expect from the deck, show you some replays, and then give some final thoughts at the end. This week, we are going to be playing Beetroopers, a deck which just came out with some extra support in Beetrooper Cruel Saturnaeus and Ultimate Great Insect, which technically isn't a Beetrooper card, but it's a big insect monster that we actually do play in the deck. Now, 2 fusion monsters, does that completely change the way the deck plays? Does that completely shift the deck? Is the Beetroopers now meta? Not exactly. Though these cards are in the new set Cyberstorm Access, these cards aren't exactly going to completely change the way that Beetroopers play. However, it is new support, and it does add just a little bit to their combos that I thought that I would show off today. Now, Beetroopers as a whole is a deck which really tries to loop certain cards' effects, get advantage, swarm the field, and then create really big boards, which your opponent's going to have to break on their turn. This particular version of the deck is brought to us by the Beetrooper Discord, and specifically the user 4Kaz on there. Very helpful person. Shout out to them. I kind of went back and forth with them a little bit over the weekend, trying to figure out this deck, trying to get some extenders and stuff like that. The only thing that I changed about the deck is I added 3 Dream Cicadas as an extra extender, which we'll go over in just a minute, over 3 more hand traps in these Ghost Ogres and Snow Rabbits. I talked with the builder of this deck and essentially said, hey, if I need more extenders, what would you recommend? And Dream Cicada is basically like one of the best ones that you can put in here, so I just replaced some hand traps with those because I felt like I wanted more consistency. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into some of the cards. We're going to start with the Beetrooper cards themselves. Our number 1 card here for our Beetrooper starters is going to be Beetrooper Scale Bomber number 1. If an insect monster is normal or special summoned to your field, special summon this card from your hand. Excellent, awesome, free body put on the field. Can't complain, and it's level 3, which is going to be important to try to get into some XC plays that we'll get into. It also has a secondary effect that when a monster your opponent controls activates effect, you contribute an insect monster and destroy it. Doesn't really come up all that often because this thing usually doesn't stick on the board like that, but it can. Next up, we play 2 Beetrooper Scout Buggy. Now, we play 2 of them even though it is a starter, but essentially what it can do is you cannot special summon monsters except insect monsters, and a lot of these Beetrooper monsters have that condition. However, it's important to note that they only have that condition while they're on the field, so that's not a lingering effect that'll last your whole turn, so that's going to be important once we get into the combos. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 Beetrooper Scout Buggy from your hand, deck, or graveyard. This is going to basically get you into a free level 3 XC, which is going to be our number 3 Cicada King we'll go over in just a minute. Next up, we play Beetrooper Sting Lancer. This card is just incredible. During the main phase quick effect, target an insect in your grave and a monster in your opponent's grave, special summon it, and then if you do, place the other monsters on the bottoms of the decks. And then if it's normal or special, you add a Beetrooper spell trap from deck to hand. This card is pretty incredible, and it's not only an extender, but it also searches for some important traps, spells and traps that you might need, and can even disrupt your opponent's graveyard if need be. This card is insane. We're playing it at 2. Next up, we are playing 1 Beetrooper Assault Roller. You can special summon it by banishing an insect monster from graveyard. It also gets 200 attack for each insect monster you control except itself. And when this is destroyed by battle, you add a Beetrooper monster from deck to hand, so it's a recruiter. It can become massive, and it is really easy to summon out. We only play 1 of it though because we don't super need it, and we don't really want to draw 3 on turn 1 or draw 2 on turn 1 and not really have a lot of plays, right? Because you still have to get something in the grave to banish it. So we only play 1 of them, but it's a solid card enough. And then lastly, for our Beetrooper monsters, we play Heavy Beetrooper Mighty Neptune. Must be special summoned by shuffling 3 of your banished insect monsters into the deck, so we are recurring resources that way. And then during the main phase, if it's in its owner control and is destroyed or banished by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon this card, which basically just means that it gets to revive itself once, so that's pretty awesome. And then, once per turn, during the end phase, you can target one other insect monster you control, gains 1,000 attack, so it even buffs itself. This card, again, doesn't stick around all that often. He usually goes into a Barone when you can do that, but it is really easy to summon out and helps you get some of your banished monsters back into your deck. Now for the other monsters that really make this deck tick. Number 1, and probably the most important card in this entire deck, is Resonance Insect. This card, when sent from the field to the graveyard, can add a level 5 or higher insect monster from your deck to your hand, and if it's banished, you can send an insect monster from your deck to the graveyard except itself, and you notice that is not once per turn. So essentially what our combo is going to be looping this card a bunch of times to gain advantage, get cards into our graveyard that we want, get cards into our hand that we want, and keep comboing off until we finish making our board. To be able to get there, we're also going to play 3 Retaliating Sea. Whenever it leaves the field, you can add 1 Earth Insect monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. So it's a really nice way to be able to get to a Resident Insect if we don't already. It also has the other effect where if your opponent activates a spell card on their turn that special summons a monster, you can special summon Retaliating Sea and then it basically becomes a D-shifter, which is nice and can come up, but more often than not, this card will be used with an extender to link summon off and then trigger its effect to try to go searching in the deck. Next up for extender, we are playing Dream Cicada. This is the thing that I replaced hand traps with. If you control an attack position insect monster, you can just special summon it for free. Just a free level 3 insect monster. You can only do that once per turn, but really good, just gets another body on board. It's level 3, so you can go into a next C play, and its secondary effect can come up in very niche situations. Its secondary effect is that if it's normal or special summon, target a no monster on the field and change its battle position. So that's important only for one card in particular in this deck, and that's going to be our Cicada King, which has an extra effect whenever it's shifted battle positions, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Next up, we are playing 3 Battle Wasp Pin the Bullseye. Excellent monster because as long as you control an insect, you can just special summon it for free. Easy peasy. You can only do that once per turn, but it's an extra body on board that's super easy to get out. And also during the main phase, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent. Just for free. Why not? Just burn it for 200. You know, whatever. Just give him a little prick. And you might be surprised, but that 200, it comes up. It really does. We're also going to play 1 Battle Wasp Sting the Poison. If it's normal or special, you add a Battle Wasp monster from your deck to your hand, except itself. And also, it has a secondary effect, which doesn't come up too often because we don't usually want Sting the Poison to just be here. But quick effect, you contribute any other insect monster, target effect monster your opponent controls, and negate its effects until the end of turn. Next, we also play 1 Gokipole. If it's sent to the graveyard, and that includes from deck, so usually you're going to banish a Resonance Insect, use this effect to dump the Gokipole, activate Gokipole to go searching for a level 4 insect monster from your deck to your hand, which is going to be our Resonance Insect. If you add a normal monster, you can also special summon it, then destroy a monster on the field with attack greater than or equal to that special summon monster. That was used not in this deck because you'll notice we don't play any normal monsters. I am used to using that in Master Duel's early days to be able to get a normal monster out and then just as an extra extension, but this deck doesn't play it. It doesn't really need it. So, but just keep in mind that that is an option. Next up, we play 1 Battle Wasp Arbalest the Rapid Fire. When it's normal summon, target a level 3 or lower insect in grave, special summon in defense. And then if it's in its owner's possession and it's destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon a Battle Wasp from hand or deck. So this card's really good as like a follow-up card for the most part. And that's why we're going to play with 3. Only one of it. We're going to try to just search for it by the end of our combo and then use it on the follow-up to try to kill our opponent if we can. And for the last couple of cards here, we play 1 Doomdozer because it's really easy to summon out. Still been an essential, like, awesome insect card for a long time. 1 Beargram Shelled Emperor of the Forest Crown, which is basically like a glorified Doomdozer. It's just on a bigger body. You have to banish 3 instead of 2. And it does have the effect where your opponent can't activate monster effects in response to spell and trap cards or effect activations, which is kind of nice if you get this guy out and you really need like your fusion spell to go off. And then lastly, once per turn during your main phase, you can destroy all face-up monsters on the field except insect and plant. So you're basically getting a board wipe as well. But keep in mind that this card will not be able to attack when that happens. And then last but not least, we are playing 3 Crawler Soma as well as a Crawler Dendrite and Crawler Axon. Soma is actually pretty crazy in this deck. It's basically just a free body. I mean, like 3 free bodies on the field. Because you can target a face-up monster you control, special summon this card from your hand, and then change that monster to set position. And now normally that would be a problem because now it can't link, it can't XZ, it can't synchro, but it can fusion and it can be tributed. And we'll get to that in just a moment. Then on top of that, when it's on the field, you can reduce this card's level by 2 or 4. Most of the time we're going to do 4. And if you do, special summon crawler monsters with different names from your hand, deck, or graveyard, whose total levels equal the amount reduced. So since we play two level 2s, those equal 4. If we reduce this thing by 4 levels, we can get both of these out, and they're just free bodies on the board that we can go into plays with. It's also 2000 attack and 2500 defense, which is nothing to laugh at. Next up, we have Beetrooper Descent, which just gives us a Beetrooper token, which is really nice. We have a Beetrooper Formation, which lets us special summon Beetroopers from the graveyard. And then we have Beetrooper Landing, which is our fusion spell that we'll be using potentially to get into these. It depends. And then for our sort of staple cards, we are playing 1 Instant Fusion because it can summon out Cruel Saturnus, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and then 3 Droll and Lockbird. Now for the extra deck, this deck uses the extra deck quite a bit. We have 1 Ultimate Great Insect, which is just a huge body that you can get onto the field. Cruel Saturnus, that whenever it's special summoned, you can go ahead and add 1 Beetrooper card from your deck to your hand. And if an insect monster is banished face up, you can target one of your banished Beetroopers and special summon it. So this card's like not amazing because I think it's just a little too annoying to get out. But it is an incredible card when you can get to it and really helps the deck just extend further. Next, we make Baronne de Fleur because we can make it if we have a Mighty Neptune as well as the Sting the Poison on the field. We play Zeus because we do play an XC that sometimes might attack here or there. Speaking of that XC, we're playing Cicada King. This card's pretty important and is part of our end board. It needs 2 level 3 monsters, which with how many level 3s we play is not uncommon. And what it does is, number 1, is it's a on the field monster negate. So if a monster on the field activates effect, you can attach a material from this card, target it, negates effects. Then make 1 insect monster on the field either gain 500 defense or change its battle position. Normally what you're going to do is change the Cicada King's battle position to defense, and then when its battle position is changed, you can special summon an insect monster from your hand or graveyard in defense. So we're going to use that to sort of exploit the graveyard and get plays going. And that's where Dream Cicada comes into play because it can change the battle position of Cicada King if need be. We're playing Giant Beetrooper Invincible Atlas, and I wish I could tell you that this is the boss monster of the deck, but it's not, unfortunately. It is a Link Summon card. It is 3,000 attack, which is incredible. And while it's 3,000 or less, your opponent can't target it with card effects, and it can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, but it's just too easy to beat over with battle. We're basically going to use this card for its effect, which is that you can tribute an insect monster, then special summon a Beetrooper monster from your deck, or make it gain 2,000 attack and go for a kill if that's possible. Most of the time, we're just going to special that Beetrooper from deck. And it can tribute itself or something on the field, including if you use Soma to set something like a Doomdozer, it can tribute that set Doomdozer and get its effect anyway. Playing Access Code, Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess will be a part of our end board. Seraphim Papillion will be an essential card that we'll try to get in every combo. Tretrix Oedipus is just another level 3 that we can actually get into and sometimes can come up because it will get certain effects from it being an insect, and it kind of synergizes with the insects and plants here. Then we have 2 Beetrooper Armor Horn. What this thing does is it will allow you to have an extra additional normal summon of an insect monster, which is incredible. And if it's in grave, you just got to banish 3 insects from grave to special summon it. So it's a really incredible card and kind of helps the deck exist, honestly. 2 Inzektor Picofelina, still a crazy card. We're going to use this to be able to equip one of our monsters with like a Resonance Insect, and then find a way to get rid of that monster so that Resonance Insect will be in grave and can activate its effect. And then 1 IP Masquerena just because it's a good card. And that's the deck. The deck has a lot going on. And it really likes to have a very long combo that can sort of easily be messed up. And if you get interruptions in any way, can make things a little tricky. Let's show you guys what it kind of looks like. Let's get into the duels. Okay, for our first game, we're going to be playing against Labyrinth, and we will be going first. We open Pin the Bullseye, Scale Bomber, Soma, and Droll and Lockbird. Now, this is actually a pretty solid hand. We have easy normal summon in one of these cards, then we have an easy special summon in Soma, and Pin the Bullseye or Bomber or whatever we need to do. So we have extenders, and we have a normal summon. Plus, Droll and Lockbird doesn't hurt for our opponent. What we're going to do to start off is in main phase 1, we're going to normal summon our Pin the Bullseye, activate Soma, flip the Pin the Bullseye face down, then activate the Soma again so that we can go ahead and change it to level 2 by reducing its level by 4, and special summon our Crawler Axon and our Dendrite from our deck, our 2 level 2 monsters, which will add up to the 4, which is the amount that Soma reduced its level by. Then we are going to link off the Soma and one of those level 2 monsters for an Inzektor Picofelina. activate its effect, pitching a card from our hand in order to target our Dendrite and equip it with a Resonance Insect. We're then going to link all of those off into a Beetrooper Armor Horn, trigger Resonance Insect to grab a level 5 or higher insect from our deck to our hand, and we're going to grab Doom Dozer. We're going to activate Doom Dozer. We're going to banish the Resonance Insect and the Crawler Summon to special summon itself out, and then activate the Resonance Insect so that we can dump Gokipole to the grave, activate Gokipole, and then we're going to grab another Resonance Insect from our deck to our hand. We're going to use the effect of Beetrooper Armor Horn in order to get our additional normal summon and additionally normal summon out the Resonance Insect. We're going to link all of those monsters off into a giant Beetrooper Invincible Atlas. And then from there, again, it's not once per turn. We're going to trigger Resonance Insect, and we're going to grab Heavy Beetrooper Mighty Neptune from our deck to our hand. We're going to activate the effect of Giant Beetrooper Invincible Atlas, tribute the set Battle Wasp Pin the Bullseye that we had on the field from the Soma earlier, in order to special summon our Beetrooper Scout Buggy, which on summon is going to let us get another one out onto the field, and immediately we're going to XC those into our number 3 Cicada King. Now, it's very important. We want to put this thing into attack, because by the end of this combo, the goal is that we will have changed this battle position to defense by the time that the combo ends. At this point now, we are going to activate Beetrooper Armor Horn in our graveyard. We're going to banish 3 of our insect monsters in order to special summon itself out. One of those will be a Resonance Insect, which we will then use its effect to dump the Battle Wasp Sting the Poison into the graveyard, which we are going to try to get back by the end of the combo. We're going to shuffle 3 of our banished monsters back into the deck and go into our Mighty Neptune. Then we're going to link off into Seraphim Papillion, and this is where it gets really important. Papillion is going to activate its effect to try to get a counter onto it. Right here, if it's link summon, place a counter on this card for each insect monster uses link material. However, we are going to negate that with Cicada King and elect to change the Cicada King to defense so that its first effect can activate, where if the battle position of this card is changed, you can special summon 1 insect monster from your hand or graveyard in defense. So we're going to do that, change it to defense, and then we are going to activate its effect and special summon the Sting the Poison. Activate Sting the Poison. It's been special summoned, so I'll add a Battle Wasp monster from deck to hand. We'll add Arbalest because it's a really good follow-up card for next turn. And then we are going to synchro those off into a Baron de Fleur. We're going to do Pin the Bullseye here because we never actually used its effect. Remember, we normal summoned it earlier at the beginning of the turn. Special summoned it out, burn for 200. Now we have an extra body on the field. We can link those off into an Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess with 2 negates on it. They are going to respond with Labyrinth Stove Torby, discarding the Eradicator Epidemic Virus to set a Welcome Labyrinth, which, I mean, I have a Baron, so like I'm just gonna use it. I mean, I know it has an effect in Grave, but it just kind of seemed like a waste to me. So we're going to Baron here. Now we have our full board as we head into end phase. We have a monster on the field negate. Very important to know that Cicada King only negates on the field, so you always have to be careful about that. 2 monster negates with Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, and then an Omni negate with Baron de Fleur. We got the full combo. This is the whole board. We also have the Droll and Lockbird in hand as extra, so like this was like the perfect hand. Basically, this was almost the perfect hand. Gave us exactly what we needed. We have the extra with the hand trap. We have all the stuff. We have follow-up. This is the ideal. Our opponent is going to normal summon their Ariana. They're going to trigger their effect, but we're going to go ahead and negate it because we can. And we're going to actually just choose to increase Cicada King. Now, this might be a slight misplay because we could still have changed it to its battle position. Made it go to attack, which would leave it vulnerable, but like it doesn't have material anyway, so we don't really care if it dies. In which case, it would still be able to special summon, and we can get any of these Beetroopers out that we want. Or, I mean, we could get any insect. So we could even get Sting the Poison if we want more follow-up. We could get Invincible Atlas if we just want a big body. Definitely misplay here. We should have put that into attack. That's going to get negated. They're going to set 3 cards, and they're going to pass because, I mean, they're playing Labyrinth. What do you expect them to do? They're going to go to battle. They're going to crash their Ariana into our Appaloosa. Unfortunately, with this deck, the Appaloosa tends to be only 16, so it does get crashed over like that sometimes. A little unfortunate, but hey, they have to clear it. My turn, draw phase. They're going to activate Skill Drain, which is just wonderful. Just absolutely wonderful. So that's going to burn my Baron Negate right there. They're going to chain Big Welcome Labyrinth to it, but I'm not too worried about that because they're just going to get Ariana to the field and then put it back to their hand. So like whatever. And then they're going to be able to set their Welcome Labyrinth and get a 2000 on the field. Not a big deal here. Not a big deal. We also drew Resonance Insect for turn, which is insane. So keep that in mind. We're going to do Baron to Floor here. We're going to pop the set card that I did not know it was. It was Goes and Match, so we get to clear that. Easy peasy, probably the best thing that we did. We're going to normal summon Arbalest, and then they're going to realize we're going to have plenty to be able to do even more plays. We have the Resonance Insect in our hand. We were going to be able to go for game there. All right, here's game 2. This time we are going to be playing against a pretty thick Dark World deck this time. We open Retaliating Sea, Beetrooper Scout Buggy, Battle Wasp Pin the Bullseye, and Beetrooper Descent. Not a bad hand. Not a bad hand whatsoever. Let's see how it goes. On our main phase, we're going to normal summon Retaliating Sea, and then we're going to special summon Pin the Bullseye. Go ahead and burn for 200. Never forget it. We're going to link those off into Beetrooper Armorhorn, and we're going to activate our Retaliating Sea to go and search for the Resonance Insect to add to our hand. We're going to Beetrooper Armorhorn, normal summon out, additionally, our Resonance Insect, and then we will Beetrooper Descent because I really want to get Pika Felina out on the field, but I need something to like equip with it. If I went Pika Felina right now, I would have nothing on the field to actually put the equip Resonance Insect on, so I'm going to go ahead and put a token onto the field. I'm going to link the Resonance in the Armorhorn into the Pika Felina, activate the Resonance Insect, activate the Pika Felina, discard Retaliating Sea, equip Resonance Insect to the token. We're going to add Doomdozer to our hand off of the Resonance Insect effect. And then we are going to banish Resonance Insect and Retaliating Sea. Insect effect, we're going to dump Gokipole effect, we're going to grab Resonance Insect. And then we are going to Beetrooper Armorhorn, banishing a bunch of cards to be able to special summon itself. So we have a bunch of bodies on the field. Then we're going to link all of that stuff off into our Beetrooper Invincible Atlas. We're going to use Resonance Insect here to grab Mighty Neptune. Then we're going to shuffle some cards back from our banish to be able to get our Mighty Neptune out onto the field once more. Beetrooper Invincible Atlas, we're going to tribute the Doomdozer to get Scout Buggy, and Scout Buggy can special from your hand, so we're going to do just that. Then we're going to XC into Cicada King. And then I kind of realized that I don't really have much more to do. Grabbing this Resonant Insect was probably a misplay earlier on because we knew that we had to use the additional normal summon of the Beetrooper Armorhorn to get our first Resonant Insect onto the field. So it might have been a better idea to just go for something else, like off the Gokipole. Go for any other level 4 insect monster if we could, like maybe an Arbalest or something, because we know that's guaranteed follow-up. But alas, we're still going to end phase. We still are going to be able to use Cicada King to get a monster out, or at least get it to defense so it's not as small. Mighty Neptune in the end phase is going to trigger to try to buff something by 1,000. We are going to elect to put Cicada King to 2200, and we don't negate it. We don't negate it. I don't know why. I suppose my reasoning at the time was that I have no real good insect monsters out onto the field right now. I could get a Doomdozer, I guess. I could get a Resonance Insect, which my opponent would have to pop. And like, that would get Resonance Insect to get me a card into my hand. So that might have been a better play. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about what should have happened there. So at this point, I now know that my opponent is playing Dark World. They're going to Genta. They're going to grab their field spell. And as soon as they do that, I am like, oh boy, where are we going with this? They're going to use that effect. They're going to get a whole bunch of discard effects out. They're going to do what Dark World does. And it's do crazy stuff and discard things and Pot of Desires, because why not? They're going to Kaiju my Invincible Atlas, and then they're going to finally Fusion Summon into their big boss monster, Grapha, which is a negate, which actually doesn't necessarily negate. It actually just changes the effect of one of your spell traps or monster effects to your opponent now discards a card, which is just insane for Dark World. Absolutely crazy. Grapha, they're going to be able to pop our XZ. And at this point, I'm thinking, oh, I'm cooked. Like, I have nothing really going on here. I still have a body. I still have Resonance Insect. So we'll see how it goes. Draw phase, we're going to draw a drone Lockbird. Would have loved to see that last turn, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. We're going to normal summon our Resonance Insect. We're going to link both off into our Armor Horn and try to get a combo going. They're going to allow it to happen. For whatever reason, they're going to just like let the Resonance Insect happen. So we're going to go ahead and grab our Beargrim, Shelled Emperor of the Forest Crown. We're going to banish a couple monsters, including the Resonance Insect, to special summon that out. And then we actually banished 2 Resonance Insects, so we're actually going to get both those triggers. And then Grapha's going to negate one of them. And they're going to be able to do Brow, which is going to let them draw a card. So we still get the Gokipole into the graveyard. We're going to activate Gokipole. We're going to search our final Resonance Insect. And then we're going to use Beetrooper Armor Horn to summon our Resonance Insect. Then we are going to Beargrim, because I'm kind of thinking like I can't get over 3,500. It's just not a thing that I can do. Unfortunately, Beargrim's 34 and can't even crash. So I elect to use this effect, and I figure at this point I'll just try to build a board that probably I won't be able to OTK, but I'll be able to use Beargrim as material for something else that would just be better. So they're going to Grapha its secondary effect, which will get the other Grapha back onto the field. But again, we have a 3,400 on board, so I'm not too worried about it. And then they're going to get some bodies on the field. I'm going to Papillion here, so I can get the Resonance Insect effect, get Sting Lancer into our hand. Sting Lancer effect, we're going to shuffle back our Atlas, and we're going to shuffle back their Kaiju. Doesn't really matter what we shuffle back for them, as long as it's not like an essential piece, you know? Going to get Sting Lancer onto the field. We're going to search. We're going to get our Fusion spell. And what happened here is that I misread. I thought that Ultimate Great Insect needed a level 8 and a level 7. I thought it needed a level 9 and a level 7. So I saw the 7 here, I saw the 9, and I thought that I could do it. So what we're going to end up doing here is actually just making Cruel Saturnus and just going as Cruel Saturnus line. We're going to grab Formation, activate Formation, use this effect, special summon. We're going to get our big boy Mighty Neptune back. We're going to Armor Horn, we're going to banish, get itself back. We're going to Resonance Insect. We're going to get all this stuff back. Cruel Saturnus, because we banished a bug, we were able to special summon our Armor Horn here. And then Resonance Insect is going to dump card, or actually is going to dump cards into our graveyard, which will be Sting the Poison. I'm going to link those guys off into an Invincible Atlas, which if you remember, I shuffled back earlier. We're going to go into Sting Lancer here. And then we're going to go Battle Phase. Pretty big boys, but not nearly enough to kill. We're going to crash Atlas into the Grapha. And if you're wondering why I didn't do Neptune, it was not able to attack, because I special summoned it off of Beetrooper Formation, which means that it can't attack this turn. We're going to get our token off of Formation, its secondary effect. We're going to swing into there. Papillion in for 25, 1,000. We're going to make Appaloosa with a few material. We're going to Pika Felina, because we just want to draw a card. We're going to get Droll and Lockbird. And we draw Droll and Lockbird, which is like, of all the cards that you could have drawn here, Droll and Lockbird has got to be like one of the best cards off the Pika Felina. Like, that is just an incredible draw against Dark World. So their turn, they're going to start playing. They're going to use this effect. They're going to go ahead and get some cards into their hand, but we're going to Droll and Lockbird immediately. And outside of this Chupacabra, that basically turned their turn off. Now again, Appaloosa is a baby in this deck in particular, and so it will end up just dying to an 1800 Chupacabra off of the Gates of Dark World, which is buffing it. But what can you do? We're just going to have to do our best with what we have. We did get Retaliating Sea, which is a pretty good card in this situation. We still have the Revive off of Formation. We're going to get Saturnus. Saturnus is going to do its effect, get us a Assault Roller. Assault Roller, we're going to banish to be able to special summon, and then because we banish, Cruel Saturnus will be able to trigger, get Beetrooper Sting Lancer. And then we have enough here for game. And we just swing in and finish the opponent off. Honestly, you take away those Droll and Lockbirds, this game probably doesn't go our way. I'm not sure how else I would have played that outside of maybe the misplay there where I did the fusion but didn't realize that the fusion needed a level 8, not a level 9. the Pika Felina allowed us to do it, so we'll take that. All right, for our last game here, we are going to be doing it against Branded. Probably my most hated deck. I can get into it another time, but that deck is, good lord. We're going to open Beargrim, Pin, Gokipole, Draw and Lockbird, and Dream Cicada. In main phase 1, we're going to normal summon our Gokipole, special summon our Dream Cicada. We're going to activate its effect to shift it to defense just because I was being cheeky. We're going to pin the bullseye, get another body on the field, burn for 200, link into Pika Felina, which will allow us to trigger our Gokipole as it's sent to grave. Pika Felina, we're going to discard our Beargrim so that we can equip our pin the bullseye with a Resonance Insect. Gokipole, get another Resonance Insect into our hand. Link those off into a Beetrooper Armor Horn, activate Resonance Insect, grab a Doom Dozer. That's usually like the main line. If you can get your first Resonance Insect in there, you usually get Doom Dozer. We're going to banish with Doom Dozer. Resonance Insect, we're going to pitch, pin, sting the poison. Beetrooper Armor Horn, additional normal summon our Resonance Insect. Link those off into a Traptrix Adipus, which is where that card comes in handy here. We can do Resonance Insect again, then get Soma. Soma, we're going to summon by flipping the Doom Dozer set, and then activate its effect, reduce level by 4. Special summon our 2 Crawler Boys from the deck. We're going to link all those off into Giant Beetrooper Invincible Atlas. Use this effect, tribute the set Doom Dozer, because it's going to be hard to use otherwise, to special summon our Scout Buggy. Scout Buggy, get another Scout Buggy, go into our XC number 3 Cicada King, and then Armor Torn, we're going to banish 3 monsters and special summon itself outward. We banished a Resonance Insect, so we're going to dump a Mighty Neptune to Graveyard. I wasn't sure what to dump here. I'm going to be perfectly honest. We already used Gokipole. We have the Sting the Poison in grave. The rest of it's just kind of like deck thinning, I suppose. We're going to link all of those off into a Papillion. Papillion is going to activate its effect. We're going to negate it with Cicada King, turn it to defense. And then with that, we're going to get our Sting the Poison onto the field. Now, there's not a lot that Sting the Poison is doing right now, because we don't have Mighty Neptune onto the field, which means we can't go into Barone, and that's the only secret we play. But hey, what are you going to do? Sting the Poison's effect, we are going to activate it and get Pin the Bullseye. So it is follow-up. Link those off into an Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, which is actually 32 this time, because I had plenty of materials. They're going to Fright for Patchwork. They're going to get Super Poly and Edge Imp Scythe, or Edge Imp Chain, I apologize. I'm going to draw on Lockbird, and they're going to Super Poly. They just have Super Poly. Not a lot I can do about that. I'm gonna use all my stuff for a Mud Dragon, just like that. Board's gone, just like that. Edge Imp Chain, they're gonna summon. Battle phase, they don't have much else because Draw and Lockbird really hurt them. And they're gonna pass turn. We drew Retaliating Sea. Perfect normal summon in this situation. We're gonna do that. And then special our Pin the Bullseye. Always burn for 200, don't forget. We're gonna banish from Graveyard 3 monsters to get Beargrim out onto the field. Link into Pika Felina. Retaliating Sea effect, we're going to grab Resonance Insect. And then Pika Felina effect, we're going to try to draw a card because we desperately need to see a card to draw. We're going to draw Retaliating Sea. We're going to wipe the board with Beargrim. And then Edge Imp Chain is going to be able to get them their Fright for Patchwork back again. We're going to go into Armor Horn. Armor Horn, additional normal summon for our Resonance Insect. Link those off into a Papillion. Papillion effect, Resonance Insect effect, grab Mighty Neptune. Become 2,500. Banish all those so that we can get Armor Horn onto the field. Resonance Insect again. Dump the Sting Lancer. Mighty Neptune. Shuffle 3 from Banish so that it can special summon itself out. Battle phase, we're going to do a whole bunch of damage. Now, I'm going to need you guys in the comments. There's 1,100 damage lost here. Right? I do not know. I didn't know in the moment. I don't know now. In what what I could have done different to potentially get that 1,100 damage, but I feel like there was a universe where that happens. Let me know in the comments below, especially if you're like a Beetrooper person, if you're coming from the Beetrooper Discord or something. What could I have done differently there, if anything, to be able to find that extra 1,100 damage? Because I'm not sure I know where it was. We're going to main phase 2. We're going to go into Invincible Atlas. We're going to activate it. We're going to tribute. We're going to get Sting Lancer. Sting Lancer is going to get Beetrooper Formation for us. Formation is going to be able to get us our Mighty Neptune And that's just a body. We're going to pass. My Neptune in phase, we're going to buff Sting Lancer by 1,000. They're going to Branded Lost. They're going to Poly. We are going to be able to, from that Poly, use Retaliating Sea for once in that effect, which is going to make all their stuff banished. But in all honesty, it's not going to matter all that much because they make Quiratus, which is going to make everything 0. We were at 1900. That's plenty enough for game. So again, let me know if you could see how I could have done that turn better to actually kill, because I think there was potential there, but I just couldn't see the line. So that was the deck. And what can I say about Beetroopers? They're true to their name. I mean, they do swarm the field. They are troopers. I think the deck is interesting. I think it's a bit inconsistent. I think that it relies on too much of a really good hand. An Ash can kill this, an Imperm can kill this at the right time, an Effect Veiler, like, it really needs to just pop off. I feel like otherwise its board is just a little too weak otherwise, and its strongest board is strong, but can't contend with what's going on right now. Now, it doesn't have to. It can be a fun deck without that. And to be honest, I'm not really, like, I'm trying to get more into meta, but I'm not a huge meta person. I like playing these rogue decks, the more casual strategies, a lot. But I also think with how complex this deck is, you really have to, like, invest time to learn the deck's ins and outs, to see all the lines, to make sure that you play your combo correctly. And the combo's long. Like, that's a long combo. It is really cheap. Early budget, at least the main deck is only less than $50 here. I would recommend joining the Beetrooper Discord. Join them, they're really helpful, especially for Kazmoden. Again, shout out, really great, knows a lot about the deck. A lot of people there have a lot of info about the deck and can help you sort of get started. I'm not sure I'm going to stick with this deck, as much as I do really like the design of like the insect monsters and stuff. But if it interests you, that's the place you're going to want to look. So, what do you think about Beetroopers? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you think they're a bit too much investment in your time? Do you think they're plenty perfect investment? What do you think about them? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit subscribe. We are trying to hit 100 subs before the end of May. Very close. I think I'm at 88 at the time of recording this video. And hit the like button so I know that you want to see more of this content. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.